Tori Petry out here at Detroit Lions training camp presented by Rocket Mortgage, and I'm joined by NFL Network's Ian Rapoport. Ian, we catch up with you just about every combine, every training camp. You've been out here catching up with some people out here with the Lions. What's your biggest observation from your time with the team?
It feels a little different. You know, I was here last year for training camp, obviously, and, you know, I knew what Matt Patricia in his first year, I knew what he was trying to accomplish, and he talked about changing the culture, making sure, you know, kind of had the right group of guys, you know, for on field, off the field, in the locker room and all that. And, you know, it felt last year, even with all sort of the optimism, I knew that there were definitely some change on the way because, you know, when you change the culture, you need to make sure you have the right kind of guys. And it feels this year like there's a lot more of the kind of guys he wants. I mean, Trey Flowers, who we obviously haven't seen on the practice field, should be fine, but haven't seen there yet. He's, you know, one of the biggest and obviously most expensive guys to come in and kind of change the culture. Even in you know, T.J. Hockenson, who they drafted very highly, he's another like really good culture guy who just really likes football. And, you know, there's more of that in place than there was at this time last year, which is, you know, pretty clear and noticeable.
We talked earlier in the offseason about Matt Patricia adding Darrell Bevell as his offensive coordinator. What's the sense you get in terms of how they're doing and installing that offense and where they're at in that process?
Yeah, I mean, seems to be going really well. And, you know, for better or worse, Darrell Bevell is always going to be, you know, linked with what happened on the goal line in Seattle. That's sort of what everyone brings up. He is a very, very good offensive coordinator and has been very good for a long time. And not just, you know, I know the sort of criticism is that he didn't run the ball. They ran the ball a ton. I mean, this is a team I think is going to be really physical and really run the ball. I'm going to talk to Kerryon Johnson for my podcast in a little bit. I mean, he's going to be one of the key pieces. And the offensive line, I think, is going to be coached a lot better and seems to be really cohesive, much more cohesive now. I know they all like each other, which is actually really important in that group. They're going to run the ball a ton, and Bevell's going to be the one kind of pulling the strings and making it happen.
All right, big roster move that happened this first week of camp. The Lions acquire Mike Daniels. They let go Theo Riddick. What did you think of that roster move? What does that add to their defense?
First, the Mike Daniels thing, you know, it was really interesting to me. I think everyone thought he was going to Cleveland. Like when I knew he was visiting there, when I talked to people around the league as I travel around to these camps, they all say, well, he's just going to sign in Cleveland, right? I think he wanted to sign. He just wanted to sign here, you know. Like, and the money would have similar. Actually, Cleveland was willing to pay more. He wanted to play against the Packers twice a season. I think that's going to be interesting for him. He liked Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn and what they were doing. I think he just, you know, he wants to go win a Super Bowl. He wants a football coach who cares only about football. I think they hit it off really well. As far as Theo Riddick, you know, it was a little bit of a surprise for me. Now, that said, he's a veteran, kind of specialty guy who's making a lot of money. So maybe not like totally surprising. But they got some good depth in the backfield. I think they can kind of make up for what he did maybe with a couple different guys and save some money to, say, pay a guy like Mike Daniels. And, look, I mean, the defensive line I thought was really good. Now it becomes maybe this team's best unit.
All right. There's not a lot of national hype around the Lions right now as far as how they're going to play this season. What are your thoughts? How do you think the Lions finish the season?
Yeah, I mean, there's never going to be a lot of national hype for a team that kind of struggled the year before. You know, unless you went out and just signed a ton of guys. I mean, like or make a big trade. Like I was just in Cleveland with the Browns, and I think there's a lot of national hype there. Teams get hyped for different reasons. The Lions got hyped last year, and obviously there were some things that didn't work out, and I'm not sure the national press helped. I think everyone here is fine being under the radar. I think some of the changes, like, you know, Darrell Bevell as offensive coordinator is going to be an upgrade. That is going to help. It's going to help Matthew Stafford. Sean Ryan as a quarterback's coach, you know, also going to help a lot. You know, it's I think they're going to be better, and at some point people will notice. But the fact that no one's noticing now is, you know, I don't think anyone on the field behind me really cares about that.
All right. Well, Ian, thank you so much. We always appreciate your insight on DetroitLions.com. Thank you and enjoy the rest of camp.
All right. Thank you.
For DetroitLions.com, I'm Tori Petry.